Skyrim is a land that constantly tries to grab your attention. Dragons circle overhead, cities tower over the tundra, ancient ruins promise treasure and danger beneath every mountain. But sometimes the most interesting places in Skyrim are the ones that don't truly stand out. They blend into the landscape, they look ordinary, they quietly wait for someone curious enough to notice. One of the best examples of this is Pinewatch. At first glance, Pinewatch is nothing more than a small shack, sitting peacefully in the forests of the Falkreath Hold. It looks like dozens of other cabins scattered across Skyrim's wilderness, a place where a lone hunter might live quietly, far away from the chaos of the cities. Most players ride past it without a second thought, but beneath that unremarkable little house lies one of Skyrim's most surprising secrets, a hidden criminal operation, an underground hideout, and a quiet connection to the powerful Thieves' Guild of Riften. Pinewatch may look forgettable, but that is exactly the point. Pinewatch sits just west of Helgen and north of the road that winds to Falkreath. The surrounding forest is dense and quiet, filled with towering pines and the distant sounds of wildlife. In other words, it's the perfect place for a secluded home. When you first arrive, the shack seems completely normal. The cabin contains the typical items you might expect: a bed, a table, a cooking pot, and a few scattered belongings. Nothing about it screams danger. Nothing suggests hidden tunnels or criminal conspiracies. And that is exactly why Pinewatch works so well. Because Skyrim is full of shacks like this. Hunter cabins, abandoned houses, small farms. They are everywhere. Players become accustomed to them and stop questioning what might be hidden inside. Pinewatch relies on that assumption. It disguises itself as something mundane in a world where players have learned to ignore the mundane itself. The true nature of Pinewatch reveals itself only if the player begins to explore more carefully. Hidden within the shack is a concealed passage leading underground. Behind the innocent-looking cabin lies Pinewatch Bandits' sanctuary, a sprawling hideout filled with criminals, traps, and stolen goods. Suddenly, the quiet cabin transforms itself into something much more sinister. What looked like a peaceful home is actually the entrance to an entire underground operation. Bandits move through the tunnels below, guarding treasure and maintaining a secret base far away from the eyes of Skyrim's authorities. It's a clever twist. Many Skyrim dungeons begin with dramatic ruins or imposing caves. Pinewatch begins with a humble wooden door and a small chimney puffing smoke into the forest air. It doesn't look like an entrance to anything important, which is exactly why no one suspects it. The importance of Pinewatch becomes clearer during the Thieves' Guild questline, particularly the quest Silver Lining. During this mission, the player is sent to recover a valuable silver mold from Pinewatch, revealing that the hideout is connected to criminal networks operating across Skyrim. This small shack in the forest is not just a random bandit camp. It is part of a much larger system. The Thieves' Guild, despite being headquartered in Riften far to the east, maintains influence throughout the province. Pinewatch acts as one of their quiet outposts, a place where stolen goods can be hidden, guarded, and moved without attracting attention. In other words, Pinewatch is a piece of Skyrim's underground economy. And yet, if you never join the Thieves' Guild, you might never learn that at all. At the centre of Pinewatch's operation is Regal Strongarm, the woman who lives in the shack above. At first, she seems harmless, just another NPC occupying a remote cabin. But if you venture deeper into the sanctuary below, her true identity becomes clear. Regal is the leader of the bandits operating beneath Pinewatch. The peaceful resident upstairs is actually the mastermind of the entire hideout. This dual identity adds an extra layer of intrigue to the location. Regal's role perfectly reflects Pinewatch itself, an ordinary surface hiding something much darker below. She lives above ground, maintaining the illusion of a simple life, while commanding a network of criminals beneath the forest floor. It's a quiet deception, one that mirrors the subtle storytelling Bethesda often hides within Skyrim's world. What makes Pine Watch particularly impressive is the scale of what lies beneath it. The underground sanctuary is far larger than the small shack above suggests. It contains multiple chambers, living areas, and defensive positions filled with bandits guarding their territory. Traps line the corridors, enemies patrol the halls, loot is scattered throughout the rooms. It feels like a full dungeon, one that players would normally expect to find beneath an ancient ruin or a massive cave entrance. Instead, it's hidden under a single wooden cabin. That contrast is what makes this place so memorable for the players who actually discover it. The realization that something so large could exist beneath something so small creates a sense of wonder, and perhaps a little paranoia about what else might be hidden across Skyrim. Pine Watch's location in the Falkreath Hold is also significant. Falkreath is known for its forests, its graveyard, and its quiet atmosphere. Compared to cities like Markarth or Windhelm, it feels calm and remote. But that calm hides many secrets. Bandit camps dot the surrounding woods. Necromancers experiment in hidden caves. Dark Brotherhood assassins once operated nearby. Pine Watch fits perfectly into this landscape of hidden danger. It reflects the idea that Falkreath's forests are not as peaceful as they seem. Beneath the trees and mist lie criminals, conspiracies, and forgotten stories waiting to be uncovered. The shack at Pine Watch is simply one more secret buried in the woods. Despite its hidden complexity, Pine Watch remains one of the most unnoticed locations in Skyrim. There are several reasons for this. First, it lacks visual spectacle. There are no towering ruins or dramatic landmarks drawing players towards it. Second, it sits in a forested area that players often pass through quickly while travelling between cities. Thirdly, its entrance looks identical to dozens of other cabins scattered across the province. Players become conditioned to expect nothing special from these small buildings. After exploring a few hunter cabins and finding nothing interesting, they stop checking. Pine Watch takes advantage of that habit. It hides its secrets in plain sight. One of Skyrim's greatest strengths is its use of environmental storytelling, the ability to tell stories through locations rather than dialogue. Pine Watch is a perfect example of this. The shack above tells one story, a quiet life in the woods. The sanctuary below tells another, a network of bandits living and working together in secret. By combining these two layers, the game creates a subtle narrative without needing long conversations or expositions. Players who only glance at the shack see nothing unusual. Players who explore deeper uncover an entire hidden world. This layered design rewards curiosity, a key theme throughout Skyrim's exploration. Skyrim is often remembered for its grand moments, dragon battles, ancient prophecies, and epic quests. But the world's true magic lies in its quiet discoveries. A forgotten campsite, a hidden cave, or a simple wooden shack in the forest that turns out to be something far more dangerous than it appears. Pine Watch reminds us that exploration is not just about chasing markers on a map. It's about curiosity. It's about stepping inside the unremarkable cabin and wondering what might be hidden behind the walls. Because sometimes the most unnoticeable place in all of Skyrim is hiding the biggest secret of all. And Pine Watch has been keeping its secret for a very long time.